But first, listen, there's a lot of people who have a question, especially for me, after what I said about this team all offseason, and I think that question is pretty obvious. The question is,
how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
I got to eat crow today. I got to. The Dallas Cowboys are 4-1 now, folks. Second best record in the National Football League. They happen to be second in their division to the 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles, but a statement win over the Los Angeles Rams yesterday. They won the game 22-10. And here's what I want to say. I want to start with the defense. If it weren't for the San Francisco 49ers putting up numbers similar to that of the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, the Dallas Cowboys would have the best defense in the NFL. I would take them today over Tampa. I would take them today over Buffalo. You stack Niners aside, you put any defense in the National Football League up against the Dallas Cowboys, I will take Dallas over anybody. It's like Niners out, I'd take Dallas over the field in terms of defense. Micah Parsons was dealing with a groin injury. We saw him coming out of the locker room at halftime. He was limping a little bit. Looks like he was in some pain. Couldn't tell in the second half. 2 sacks, which I predicted on the Cowboys Cam Fan pregame show. Shout out to those guys. Crack him if you got him. But I predicted that Micah Parsons would have 2 sacks, and he had that game-ending strip sack to really, put the bow on a big win for Dallas. DeMarcus Lawrence played well. He had the strip sack from Dorrance Armstrong. He recovered it for the touchdown. Dorrance Armstrong also blocked a punt. And so when you're talking about Dallas, and I've said this for the last couple of weeks, they have a way to win. And it's been very effective, right? Score early, put the pressure on the opposition's offense, get stops defensively, let Trayvon Diggs do his thing, let guys like Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, Odigizua had a sack yesterday. Let those guys go after the quarterback and make things tough on him. Because to me, that is the mark of a great defense. Dallas likes to play man. We know Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, what a job that he has done in 2 years in Dallas. Dallas is a heavy man team. But the mark of a great defense, a truly great defense, when they can get pressure without blitzing. If they can just send 4 and get pressure on the quarterback. Now, some of that has to do with the fact that the Rams are dealing with all kinds of injuries and all kinds of, a lack of continuity on their offensive line. Some of it has to do with that. But they forced Matt Stafford to make some poor decisions, especially late in the fourth quarter. The interception to Malik Hooker. Okay, and again, I mentioned the strip sack late. Micah Parsons making that play. And so, again, Matt Stafford is a guy, we know, you can force him to make mistakes. Okay, as I say, sometimes in jest, but sometimes in being serious. Today, I'm kind of being serious when I say that. You can take the quarterback out of Detroit, but you can't take the Detroit out of the quarterback. Some of that applied yesterday. And so that Dallas Cowboys defense, folks, is special. It's special. There's no other way around it. They look unbelievable. But here's kind of what I want to get at offensively, because people talk about, okay, the Cowboys are sitting there at 4-1. Okay, they've done something in the first 5 weeks of the season that has not been done since 2016. You want to know what that is? Beat the 2 teams that participated in the previous season's Super Bowl. The Cowboys beat the Bengals in week 2 to start this winning streak. And their most recent win, as a matter of fact, in the stadium where the Super Bowl was played, against the team that won the Super Bowl, the Los Angeles Rams. It hasn't been done since the Atlanta Falcons did it in 2016. And what do we know about those Falcons? They got to the Super Bowl. We know what happened in that Super Bowl, but they still got there. Ironically, with Dan Quinn as their head coach. But here's what I kind of want to circle around on. Are the Cowboys contenders? Well, they're bordering on it. In an NFC that I said coming into the season I didn't trust. I thought the Rams would be great. They're not. I said Tampa Bay would get to the NFC Championship game, and while I'm not putting that out of the picture because we're talking about Tom Brady, have they had a very impressive performance yet? Again, I have yet to see Tampa Bay put together a complete game. I'll talk a little bit about the Bucs later in the show. The Packers don't look great. The Vikings are in close games with the Chicago Bears. Like, Philadelphia is really the only team that hasn't had a bad game, and they're 5-0. But here's what I think is holding back the Dallas Cowboys from being contenders. I still don't trust the receiving unit. I don't. I trust I trust Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, the job that they have done running the football. Again, we saw Tony Pollard had that long touchdown to put Dallas back on top after the Cooper Kupp touchdown. Again, Trayvon Diggs, my man. I'm starting to buy back into Trayvon Diggs, but he turned back into Kenny Rogers. He turned back into the gambler. Okay, he tried to play it inside. Cooper Kupp beat him, went the distance. Outside of that, Trayvon Diggs played a good game. But Dallas yesterday rushed for 163 yards. Pollard averaged 11 yards a carry. Zeke averaged only 3.5, but he was kind of that bell cow back. Typical Zeke stat line, 22 carries for 78 yards. We know he doesn't have the burst Tony Pollard does. We know Dallas can run the football, and I got to be honest with you. To me, the biggest shock of the Dallas Cowboys 4-game winning streak, to me, their offensive line. Tyron Smith, gone. Lyle Collins, lost him in free agency. Okay, you got a rookie, Tyler Smith, starting at left tackle. Jason Peters didn't play. Now, he's been playing limited snaps, but he was out for the whole game due to injury. Tyler Bionis, I think, is a limited center. Zach Martin is still great, but we know he's been dealing with some injuries. His skills are receding a little bit as he gets up there in age. That Dallas offensive line has been excellent against, by the way, some pretty good pass rushes. Cincinnati, Giants, Washington still has an okay pass rush, and we know the Rams definitely got a good pass rush because Aaron Donald, who had a good game yesterday. I still don't trust the receiving unit. CeeDee Lamb dropped another wide open pass yesterday, folks. I didn't know that he was Kyrie Irving. I didn't know he was an anti-vaxxer. He didn't get vaccinated against the drops. He still won't get vaccinated against the drops. Now, Gallup also had a drop yesterday, but we don't expect that from him as much as we do CeeDee Lamb. But again, we talk about the quote, I'm going to say this in quotes, quarterback controversy. Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott. First of all, Cooper Rush yesterday, 10 for 16, a $102, no touchdowns, no picks. He had a QBR 0-100, a QBR of 16. So this was a class participation grade for Cooper Rush. I thought this would be the game where he got exposed a little bit. But I picked the Rams to win a low-scoring game, 19-16. He wasn't even in position to do that, right? The Cowboys didn't put him in position to be quote-unquote exposed by the Rams defense. But I still maintain, if the Dallas Cowboys want to be a Super Bowl contender, if they want a legitimate chance of getting to Arizona, which is where the Super Bowl is going to be this year, they've got to upgrade their receiving unit. And I have a solution. We talk about there's a lot of problems in this world, but what's the solution? Do we have a solution to those problems? Well, I got a solution to the Cowboys wide receiver problem. Go pursue aggressively. Do something that the Cowboys have not done in quite some time. Pursue a big-time free agent. Odell Beckham Jr. is not in the team yet, folks. And we know he's listed teams like he wants to play for the Bills. Possibly coming back to the Rams. Rams could sure use him right now because Matt Stafford, once again, turned into that one-read quarterback, just going to Cooper Kupp the whole time. Or Skoranek or Allen Robinson, who once again did nothing yesterday. It's talked about possibly, there's been rumblings about him going back to the Giants. I doubt that happens, but yeah, you never know. If I'm Dallas, I'm saying I'm going hard after him. Because you tell me, in a big game, because Dallas looks like, as long as they don't screw anything up, looks like they're going to be a playoff team. NFC East winner, don't know, because they're in the same division as, right now, the best team in the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles. They got a big game against Philadelphia next week. That'll be very fun to watch. But Dallas looks like they're going to get into the playoffs, given the start they've gotten off to. But in a big game, in a 3rd and 7, okay, you're down 4 points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, trying to drive your midfield. You got a 3rd down and 7. You want CeeDee Lamb or you want Odell? Because I've seen Odell make those big catches in big playoff games. Saw him do it last year numerous times for the LA Rams. I haven't seen CeeDee Lamb do that. He had, one catch in the playoff game last year against the Niners? CeeDee Lamb, I've been beating this table all offseason. He is a 2. He is a number 2 wide receiver. If that's your best guy, you don't have a very good receiving unit. I'm just being totally honest with you right now. Michael Gallup coming back helps. He's that deep threat, that big, red zone target. Okay, Noah Brown has played well, but it's not enough. Okay, because we know Mike Tyson. What's the old Mike Tyson quote? Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. There's going to be a team in the future, whether it comes in the regular season, whether it comes in the postseason, that's going to take Dallas out of what they're comfortable doing, whether that be running the football and whether that be, say it, you get a high-flying offense that, maybe shreds the Cowboys defense. We haven't seen it thus far, not even close. But even the great defenses have bad performances. It happens. Everybody does. It's bound to happen. So what are you going to counter with that offensively? We know Dak is better than Cooper Rush. It's not even close. I mean, Cooper Rush, for those of you that want Cooper Rush start over Dak, so you want a guy who is 23rd in completion percentage, 26th in yards per game, and ranks 21st in the NFL in 20-plus yard completions. That's the guy you want starting over Dak. But I'll leave that be. Go get Odell, and also, because I'm going to talk about this team a little later in the show, go trade for DJ Moore. I liked DJ Moore coming out of college, but going to Carolina, I mean, who's he at quarterback? An old, washed Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Kyle Allen, Baker Mayfield. I mean, come on now. I mean, Dak's head and shoulders above these guys. So you add DJ Moore, so you can use him as somewhat of a gadget guy, right? Trade a second-round pick for DJ Moore. Okay, so you got Odell as your 1, Lamb as your 2, DJ Moore as your 3. It's pretty good. Michael Gallup as well, and here's something else too with Gallup. He's had some injuries. So if Michael Gallup goes down, no harm, no foul. Remember the Cowboys last year. Who'd they have when Michael Gallup went down? They had Cedric Wilson. They had a backup plan. Now the backup plan is Simi Fehoko, James Washington, if and when he comes back. Like, I'm going to trust DJ Moore. I'm sorry, DJ Moore a lot more than those guys. That's my solution to the problem for the Cowboys. The only thing that I think is holding them back from contention. Do I trust Mike McCarthy? Not really. Not really. I trust Dan Quinn, the job he's doing with the defense. But is this one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFC? Absolutely. I think it's safe to say that today. To me, it goes Eagles, Niners, and then you're kind of in a tug of war between Dallas and Minnesota. That's what it feels like. I think Dallas is better than Tampa today. They're definitely better than Green Bay today. Saints, I know they got a win yesterday against Seattle, but they're kind of one-dimensional. Their defense hasn't been as good as we thought. So this is a top 4 team in the NFC right now. And so because of that, they feel like a Super Bowl contender if they upgrade the receiving unit. And of course, if Dak Prescott comes back, because if he doesn't, no, this is not a Super Bowl contender. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube. Be sure to click that big red subscribe button and go check out the other clips and full shows of Carving It Up Live. Have a blessed day.